What is the dark web? How to access it and what you'll find. The dark web is part of the internet that isn't visible to search engines and requires the use of an anonymizing browser called Tor to be accessed. The dark web is a part of the internet that isn't indexed by search engines. You've no doubt heard talk of the dark web as a hotbed of criminal activity, and it is. Researchers Daniel Moore and Thomas Ridd of King's College in London classified the contents of 2,723 live dark websites over a 5-week period in 2015 and found that 57% host illicit material. A 2019 study, Into the Web of Profit, conducted by Dr. Michael Maguires at the University of Surrey, shows that things have become worse. The number of dark web listings that could harm an enterprise has risen by 20% since 2016. Of all listings, excluding those selling drugs, 60% could potentially harm enterprises. You can buy credit card numbers, all manner of drugs, guns, counterfeit money, stolen subscription credentials, hacked Netflix accounts and software that helps you break into other people's computers. Buy login credentials to a $50,000 Bank of America account, counterfeit $20 bills, prepaid debit cards, or a lifetime Netflix premium account. Not everything is illegal. The dark web also has a legitimate side. For example, you can join a chess club or black book, a social network described as the Facebook of Tor. The terms deep web and dark web are sometimes used interchangeably, but they are not the same. Deep web refers to anything on the internet that is not indexed by and, therefore, accessible via a search engine like Google. Deep web content includes anything behind a paywall or requires sign-in credentials. It also includes any content that its owners have blocked web crawlers from indexing. Medical records, fee-based content, membership websites, and confidential corporate web pages are just a few examples of what makes up the deep web. Estimates place the size of the deep web at between 96% and 99% of the internet. Only a tiny portion of the internet is accessible through a standard web browser, generally known as the clear web. The dark web is a subset of the deep web that is intentionally hidden, requiring a specific browser, Tor, to access, as explained below. No one really knows the size of the dark web, but most estimates put it at around 5% of the total internet. Dark web tools and services. The Into the Web of Profit report identified 12 categories of tools or services that could present a risk in the form of a network breach or data compromise. Infection or attacks, including malware, distributed denial of service, DDoS, and botnets. Access, including remote access Trojans, rats, keyloggers and exploits. Espionage, including services, customization and targeting. Support services such as tutorials. Phishing. Customer data. Operational data. Intellectual property, trade secrets. Other emerging threats. The report also outlined 3 risk variables for each category. Devaluing the enterprise, which could include undermining brand trust, reputational damage or losing ground to a competitor. Disrupting the enterprise, which could include DDoS attacks or other malware that affects business operations. Ransomware as a service, RaaS, kits have been available on the dark web for several years, but those offerings have become far more dangerous with the rise of specialized criminal groups like Rebel or G and Crab. These groups develop their own sophisticated malware, sometimes combined with pre-existing tools, and distribute them through affiliates. This business model is successful and lucrative. IBM Security X-Force, for example, reported that 29% of its ransomware engagements in 2020 involved Rebel. All this activity, this vision of a bustling marketplace, might make you think that navigating the dark web is easy. The place is as messy and chaotic as you would expect when everyone is anonymous, and a substantial minority are out to scam others. Accessing the dark web requires the use of an anonymizing browser called Tor. The Tor browser routes your web page requests through a series of proxy servers operated by thousands of volunteers around the globe, rendering your IP address unidentifiable and untraceable. Tor works like magic, but the result is an experience that's like the dark web itself. Unpredictable, unreliable and maddeningly slow. Dark web search engines exist, but even the best are challenged to keep up with the constantly shifting landscape. The experience is reminiscent of searching the web in the late 1990s. Even one of the best search engines, called Grams, returns results that are repetitive and often irrelevant to the query. Link lists like the hidden wiki are another option, but even indices also return a frustrating number of timed-out connections and 404 errors. Dark web websites. Dark web websites look pretty much like any other site, but there are important differences. One is the naming structure. Instead of ending in .com or .co, dark web websites end in .onion. That's a special-use top-level domain suffix designating an anonymous hidden service reachable via the Tor network, according to Wikipedia. Browsers with the appropriate proxy can reach these sites, but others can't. Dark web websites also use a scrambled naming structure that creates URLs that are often impossible to remember. For sale on the dark web. The dark web has flourished thanks to Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that enables two parties to conduct a trusted transaction without knowing each other's identity. Bitcoin has been a major factor in the growth of the dark web, and the dark web has been a big factor in the growth of Bitcoin, says Ticket. Most e-commerce providers offer some kind of escrow service that keeps customer funds on hold until the product has been delivered. However, in the event of a dispute, don't expect service with a smile. It's pretty much up to the buyer and the seller to duke it out. Every communication is encrypted, so even the simplest transaction requires a PGP key. Is the dark web illegal? We don't want to leave you with the impression that everything on the dark web is nefarious or illegal. The Tor network began as an anonymous communications channel, and it still serves a valuable purpose in helping people communicate in environments that are hostile to free speech. A lot of people use it in countries where there's eavesdropping or where